Hey everybody, it's Shawna L. Francis, and I'm just so very excited to be speaking with Dr. Alicia Bokman here. Alicia reached out to me. We started this new awesome Facebook group here, Starseed Lifestyle with Shawna L. Francis here just a few weeks ago. We've got 150 group members here. Alicia she's a part of the Army of Light. She's watched a lot of my videos, if not all of them, these transmissions from the Galactic Federation of Light here. This resonates, and of course, as I've told many of you, if that's happened, you're a light worker, you're a star seed, you're here for a very important mission. This is not easy what we're here to do. This is about raising your vibration. It's about anchoring love onto this planet. It is maneuvering the most monumental shift humanity has ever experienced. Ever, right? So this is a big deal. So Dr. Alicia here, she's also from Washington State, and we're going to do a bit of an interview here with Alicia, and she just has incredible, experience. Well, Alicia, I'm going to ask her to explain more about her background, but she has a doctorate. She's a naturopathic doctor. She's got her master's degree. She's got all this training in alternative healing, and I think it's just really incredible. So hi, Alicia, thanks for being here. Welcome.
Hi, Shawna. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you and with talking with everyone tonight. So thank you.
Perfect. So it's April 9th here, and we want to do a couple of these. We're going to try to get this live eventually after we figure out the technology with Facebook. But for now, we've got a few questions that have come in through the Facebook group. Thanks everybody who has submitted questions for Alicia, for Dr. Alicia. But you know what's so cool about Alicia is, she's had an awakening, journey here, just like many of us have, that's kind of led her to this point, right? And it's really, I think, fun and interesting and important for us to hear each other's stories and to understand, how we got here, right? We're talking about the Galactic Federation of Light, right? We've got all kinds of interesting multidimensional influences coming on in these high dimensional frequencies. So, Dr. Alicia, I would just love to know, if you could tell everybody here more about you and how you kind of started down this path where you thought, wow, this is not what I expected, or life is not what I thought it was. And here you are on an awakening path.
Absolutely. I would love to share that. Thank you for asking. So I've been on a spiritual journey most of my life. I've always been a spiritual seeker, looking for answers, kind of looking for my truth. I was fortunate enough to grow up with a mom that was very open-minded and holistically and alternatively minded. And so I was exposed to a lot of kind of difference of philosophies and thoughts and healing modalities and things like that. So I was looking into, all kinds of different traditions and schools of thought from like a young age. I also went through a lot of different health issues kind of earlier in my life, kind of my older childhood and teenage years. So I was always looking for answers and healing for that. And I went on a quest and a mission to find those answers to heal myself, and ultimately got very inspired to do this as my life's calling. So my spiritual awakening was a very slow burn for much of my lifetime. And it really took off, I would say, right after I finished graduate school. I am a naturopathic doctor and a licensed acupuncturist. So I did 2 graduate programs over 6 years. That was very intensive. I also got pregnant with my daughter my last year of graduate school, just to kind of, just for fun. And
Yeah, you weren't already stressed out at all. That's okay.
I was on my feet, like just trying to finish things up before I gave birth. So, I, 3 days after I graduated school, I gave birth to my daughter, Luna. And I would say that's when my spiritual awakening really amplified. It was actually a very challenging time of my life. I'm very open and honest and transparent person. So the realization of the kind of financial aspect of the schooling I had taken on, 2 graduate degrees, was a lot of student loan debt, was quite overwhelming. A newborn baby that had some health stuff. She basically didn't sleep and cried almost 20 hours a day.
Oh my goodness.
And that was also a very energetically powerful period of time on the planet. She was born right when basically the Mayan calendar came to an end, and people didn't know what was going to happen. They didn't know if the world was coming to an end. It was just an energetically powerful time. So I would say I went through a bit of a dark night of the soul at that time. I went into clinical practice shortly thereafter, and really just kind of burned the candle at both ends for many years, sacrificing myself to treat my
Mm-hmm.
patients, and always feeling like I was on my soul's path and really following my soul's calling. But I was pretty much miserable and my health was suffering, and it was just very, very challenging. And I reached my breaking point maybe 5 years ago, where I just couldn't, my soul, my spirit was telling me I could not do it anymore. And I really shifted the way I was practicing at work. I went part-time, and I started spending a lot of time on my own healing practices. I kind of miraculously, the universe dropped a teacher onto my doorstep.
I love that. That's
Yeah,
great.
it was perfectly aligned. I have a long history of energy healing, learning energy healing modalities going into my early 20s. But a teacher came into my life that taught me, I started learning a modality called theta healing,
Mm.
which is one of the energy healing modalities I practice. And using theta healing, which I've at this point merged with some of the other energy healing I do, I started to systematically go through all of my limiting subconscious beliefs, reprogramming myself, clearing and releasing trauma from this lifetime, from past lifetimes, a lot of ancestral trauma, a lot of trauma in my ancestral line. And throughout that process, that was a huge game changer for me. And I was doing this work on myself for years. I still do. And I
Okay.
offer this for my patients and clients at this point. And my healing awakening just kind of has skyrocketed since then. I've just gotten, the more I've cleared the density and the limiting beliefs, the more clarity I have with my intuitive guidance, my higher self,
Yeah.
just getting more clear on what I'm here to do. And, you know, yeah, every next step in my life, I feel like is presented to me. Um,
Oh,
Divine
I mean,
timing.
that's amazing, right? And that's kind of how it works for people. It's like you kind of want the whole enchilada at once. Well, your guides, your team, even your soul, your higher self is only going to kind of give you the next step as you're ready, as your vibration raises. So you've done it. So you've taken the years of self, work and shadow work to get to this point. I was curious about the theta work. So
Yeah.
I'm a Reiki master, so I know, and I love energy, right? It's everything. Energy is everything, but can you tell us a little bit more about what is it about that kind of worked for you?
Yeah. So there's so many powerful energy healing modalities on the planet. And I feel like, we've reached a place in our evolution spiritually where, many people are receiving this guidance and downloads of these different healing modalities. But theta healing just really resonated with me from the very, very start. What it is that everyone has the ability to heal themselves, right? And what struck me initially about theta healing is that after even my first level of training, I felt immediately replenished and revitalized. Like in
Okay.
my history, I'm quite an empath, as I'm sure a lot of people who are in this group are highly empathic. And I would take on everyone else's energies and emotions, and just take it on in my all the years of being a naturopathic doctor and an acupuncturist. And I would always
Oh
feel
my
depleted
gosh.
after a day of work,
Oh
drained,
yeah.
exhausted. And with theta healing, I felt invigorated, revitalized, energized. And so I knew immediately that this modality really resonated with me. And the other thing I really find powerful about this is that there's a direct connection with source, universe, God, spirit, whatever it is in your belief system, that this healing modality facilitates that direct contact. You're not having to go through any intermediary. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, that really resonates as well. And I just found that it's a beautiful framework for doing everything from clearing limiting subconscious beliefs. And our subconscious mind is so powerful. It runs about 95% of our realities. And so finding modalities that we can access those subconscious programs, we're comprised of these programs. Some of them are for our benefit and a lot of them aren't. So it's great for the reprogramming subconscious beliefs, clearing trauma from this lifetime, clearing past life trauma, ancestral trauma, which for many people is huge. And it's kind of just a vehicle for healing on the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and energetic levels. And for me, I find that those are all of equal importance. For healing, we can't just heal the physical body. That's a huge piece. We have to kind of hit all those different levels of a being to really get to the root cause and for deep and true healing to occur.
I love this. Absolutely. It's all intertwined. It's all energy, I mean, that's the bottom line for all of this. So I think that's really great. And I kind of am hearing here probably from the GFO, the guys, they're reminding me, they there was a time earlier on in the 100 days of channeling where they talked about seek out other healers. There are people on the planet right now who are here to help with this awakening process and to help people get through this time with these energies. So seek help, ask your guides for help, ask your higher self for help, of course, all these things, and take time for doing that, but seek out healers who resonate with you, get your energy excited, get your heart fluttery, so like Theta, I've done a lot of kind of energy work, and I've not actually heard of that. So yeah, guys, ask your higher selves, ask your guides to help direct you to a healer who could help you for wherever you're at in your evolution at this time. So anyway, wanted to just do that kind of a shout out.
So important. And I love what you said about really feeling that resonance within you to know if that's the person is the optimal person for you to work with, really trusting kind of that inner guidance. That's one of the things I find that I teach all my patients, that's so important to see if something resonates with you. You don't want to just go to any healer. You want to make sure that person, that your being has a resonance with it and that you're in alignment with one another. That's really key.
Beautiful. Perfect. Okay, wonderful. Well, I think we can go ahead and get to the first question here. All right, so heading on to Facebook here, Jillian, if I'm saying your name right, is saying here, and this is such a great question. What are Alicia's top 5 or more ways to increase your vibration or frequency through diet, spirituality, releasing trauma held in cells, mindfulness, meditation, journaling, gratitude, channeling, all the above, or something else that you've discovered?
Yes, I love this question so much. And this is really kind of what I dedicate my life to, is raising my frequency and vibration and helping others to do so as well. So, and I love that you have an awareness that all these various things are part of raising our frequency and vibration. And we are energetic beings, and we vibrate and resonate at a frequency that continuously is changing, continuously going up and down. And that doesn't mean it's better or worse, but our frequency and vibration will shift depending on many factors. So I have so many different ways that I think are important in raising our frequency and vibration. But the first one I want to talk about is our diet and nutrition, because that is such an important emphasis of the group we're all in.
Right.
And yeah, so I think that's worth a good conversation. So I don't believe that there's one right or wrong way for everyone to eat. I think there's a lot of variation in it, and it will continuously shift from day to day, the seasons of the year, depending on where we are in the seasons of our life, even where we live in the world. There's so many factors. So what I teach my patients, my clients, is to really get in touch with their bodies and their intuitive wisdom to start to feel how something affects their vibration and frequency. And I just wanted to share kind of a basic kind of starter kind of tip on how to do that. I think that would be really valuable for people.
Awesome. Yes.
So a great way to start is, let's say, breakfast tomorrow morning. You're sitting there and you're like, what would be the question I encourage you all to ask is, what would be for my, what breakfast would be for my highest and best good? What would be, the highest vibration food I can eat right now? And to just sit and take a deep breath and kind of tune into your body. Feeling into your heart in particular can be really helpful. I find that that's a sensitive area of the body, and that's the heart's wisdom is really important. And often when something's a yes for us, we will feel a sense of expansion in our physical body and the heart space. And when something is a no, we'll feel kind of contracted. So you can even kind of go through the list. Would a green smoothie be for my highest and best good? And kind of see how it feels and resonates in your body. And when you get a yes, you'll know it. Like your cells will light up, your body will light up. And sometimes you'll actually, your higher self or your guides will give you download you with what would be the best thing to raise your frequency and vibration in that moment. So that's a really good practice to start doing, not only with food, but even everything in our life can affect our frequency and our vibration, from the color of the clothing we're wearing. I selected a purple sweater for this conversation because that felt like the most high vibrational option for me. The friends we have on our Facebook and social media, the content we choose to watch, what books we're reading, it's really the water we're choosing to drink. It's kind of across the board. Everything in our life affects our frequency and our vibration. So diet is a huge one, and some just general guidance on foods that tend to be high vibe and ways of eating that tend to be high vibrational for everyone that I think would be helpful. Eating more live food. That doesn't mean we have to go 100% raw food, but food that's alive, fresh produce, food from the earth. It's high in vital life force, which is also called chi or prana, in various traditions. And the more of this vital life force, the more light these foods contain, this will add light and vitality to our bodies and beings. So that's a really huge key, eating more live food. I'm really loving sprouts. You can make your own sprouts at home really, really easily. And something you just need, any sort of seed or nut or bean. And that's something that you can learn pretty quickly online. That's a very vital food to eat. Another important thing to consider is drinking really high quality water. These days, we don't want to be drinking water out of the tap in most of the world. It's very contaminated. It's, water that's just been sitting there. It's not alive. It's not vitalized in any way.
Yeah.
So filtering your water with the highest quality filter you can get. And then actually there's different kinds of devices and gadgets that will structure the water or even like spin the water to create a vortex, which energizes it. That's another good one. And then
I was just going to say structured water. I don't know much about that, but I've seen that. So I wasn't exactly sure what that was, but that comes up on blogs and online. I just see that. So that's what that is. It's like, is it like an ionization of the water or adding of minerals? What is that?
No, it's a little different. So ionizing water will make the water more alkaline for the body, more of a lower pH water for the body. So that's a little different. And it's structuring the water, or basically in nature, water is, moving. The water in creeks will have gentle movement, and water in the ocean, and that enlivens the water. That adds information and energy and order to it. And when we consume that kind of water, it will add that to our bodies. And one of the, without buying any sort of gadgets or gizmos or devices, a simple thing everyone can do at home is either blessing their water with prayer, just connecting from their heart space to their water, even with, just sometimes I'll just connect with my heart and love. You can just project love into your water. That information actually, goes into the water or the food, and we consume it, and then our cells take that on. So that's kind of a simple practice we can do to add that to our water.
Beautiful. Love that.
Yes. And then a couple of other, one other thing I wanted to say about raising the frequency and vibration. I find this book to be really helpful for people to start to have an understanding of the various places in their life that they can make changes to affect their vibration. It's called Vibe by Robin Openshaw. And that's a great, that's a great resource to start to bring awareness to people. But start to look at anywhere in your life that doesn't feel joyous or expansive or blissful for you. That's an opportunity to make a shift to change your frequency and vibration. There's something there that's not in resonance with your body. That's what that's telling you.
Oh my gosh. And you made that sound so simple. I mean, our lives get really complicated, and there's all kinds of stuff that we can really get worried about, or be angry about, or be upset about. There's so much of that every day that we're maneuvering. But even in my one-on-one sessions with people, we try to break these things down. But that is the bottom line. Can you say it one more time?
Yeah. So, yeah, anywhere in our life where we're not feeling joyous, abundant, blissful, expansive, that's our birthright. That's our natural state of being. If something is making us feel depleted or unwell, there's something that's not in alignment there with our physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, or energetic bodies or beings. There's something that's not quite right. And so tuning in with your higher self, with your guidance, with whatever, divine team you work with, and kind of asking for clarity, there's some sort of opportunity to make a shift here. And right now, just to kind of elaborate on that a little bit more, we are in the process of clearing and releasing a lot of density from our beings right now. Part of this shift we're undergoing on the planet, and as we do that, we can hold more of this light, and we can radiate more of this light. And so that density, it's in our physical body, it's in all levels of our body. So clearing, lightening up the diet, detoxifying to clear the physical body, clearing and releasing emotional pain and trauma, clearing resentments and grudges, and forgiving people in our lives and ourselves where we need forgiveness. All these kind of things will help us to clear and release this density from the various levels. And it's once you tune into it, it starts to become more and more apparent where there's an opportunity to surrender. A lot of it is about surrendering, to surrender some of the things in our lives that are no longer working for us,
Yeah.
no longer in our highest alignment.
Yeah.
Creating, these positive changes, creating the life of our dreams, really is what it has to do with.
And
Sounds so
folks,
simple.
we're worth it. You're worth it. And as empaths, there's a lot of divine feminine here, a lot of women who are in this group and who watch the GFL. And, this is it's a lot of that kind of thing. But, we're used to giving, we're used to being the nurturers, we're used to giving of ourselves, just all that empathy, right? And just,
Yeah.
man, it's tough, guys, to shift that to be more about you, your highest excitement, what makes you tick, what's not working in your life, and making those really hard decisions, as we all have here, to make things better for ourselves. It's really important as starseeds and light workers to be selfish right now, and to do these things that have been hard, you've been putting off. And I'm going to throw you a little bit of a curveball question, because I just keep hearing it and I just want to honor that. I talk with not a lot, but a handful of folks who are smoking a lot of marijuana, and here in Washington, Oregon, California, it's legal, right? It's a lot of states, it's legal, and it's become way more acceptable. And, I think, do you have any comments on that? Especially, I think we've got, even if people are doing that daily, or often, what would you say in terms of what would be your recommendations there? And I get that question. I'm never quite sure how to answer it.
Yeah, I love that you asked that. I think that's a really pertinent question to go through right now, because this could be looked at from various different lenses. Cannabis, for many people is a plant medicine, a sacred plant medicine, and it can be used in that way. And when it's used that way, it's grown in a high vibrational manner with consciousness, and it can be used in more of a ceremonial manner with prayer.
Ceremonial. I love that.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, I like that idea.
intention, with the goal of spiritual connection, or with a specific intention. And when done in a sacred way, and it feels in alignment with a person's body and being and their chemistry, I think it could be, it could be, perfectly fine, if not helpful in certain instances. But I think everyone who is partaking really needs to be honest with themselves, that if it's being used in that manner, or if it's become a crutch or habitual or addictive, or as a way of coping with anxiety and kind of the high energies right now, just to manage. So
Yeah.
it can kind of go that route pretty quickly as well. So I think it's about tuning in with each person's individual guidance, and asking, what role it's playing in their life at that moment. But if people are partaking, I really do recommend that more sacred ceremonial use with prayer and just blessing it beforehand. I think
That's perfect. I mean, and that is that's the guidance that I've gotten for these sessions. So that's perfectly in alignment. And I think that's beautiful. And I think there is a place for plant medicine, and it is truly a sacred, it's a gift here on this planet. It helps a lot of people with a lot of things.
yeah.
So yeah, I think it's like, if you're always in that cloud, like literally and figuratively, is it making your life more murky, or is it bringing clarity? And normally, for a lot of folks, it's not bringing much clarity. That intention hasn't been there. Okay, well, thank you for that. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Was there anything else on Jillian's question in terms of high vibe that you wanted to cover?
There was something else that was just coming up. I am totally blanking on it. I think
I kind of interrupted you, so.
oh, that's okay. I think right now there's a lot of emotional purging going on as well. I just wanted to kind of normalize the fact that there's a lot of highs and a lot of lows at the moment, and it can have almost a bipolar energy for a lot of people. And this emotional purging that's going on, it's important to welcome the emotional purging. We don't even need to overly intellectualize always what's going on. There's emotions that just need to work through our bodies and beings. So really, when those emotions come up, taking it as an opportunity to go deeper inside of it and allowing it to flow through us. And that's really key. This emotional purging piece, I think, is really, really important. So giving yourself the space and time to honor that process.
Absolutely. I want to add one thing to that too, guys. Emotional processing, so important to honor those things, because this is truly it's a purging of energy. So even tears, imagine those are a form of energy, right? So allow these tears to flow, if you've been stuffing them away.
Yeah.
But I'd say on the flip side of that, also be conscious of just old programming and like always being upset about something, if it feels like it's routine and it's just a rote kind of thing, like you hit the play button and you're going to have this emotion. I think that's a little bit different than really honoring kind of these authentic emotions that are coming from your heart space. What does
Yeah.
your heart need to say? What does it need to feel? How it needs to be heard in a certain way. So I think having a little bit of discernment between those two things.
Yes, we could get
It's
stuck in a
important.
bit of a loop. Could get stuck in a bit of a loop. And that's when, it's
Yeah.
important to reach out sometimes for help from a healer or a professional, whether it be an energy worker or a therapist or a naturopathic doctor, a functional medicine doctor. There's various professionals out there that can help facilitate this process and help us come into more balance so that we can flow through this with greater ease.
Love it. Okay, from Nancy.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
Nancy talks, she talks a little bit about a burning pain in her right shoulder, down her right arm, right side of her face, ear. And I've had TMJ myself. So it sounds like somebody said maybe that's TMJ. Also I've had braces and can tell for sure that my jaw clicks and my bite is off. So checking in on any insight there.
Yes. Okay. So, so a little disclaimer that I can't really diagnose or treat on this kind of forum because that wouldn't be, practicing good, responsible medicine without seeing a person. And always important to check in with your medical provider. So just putting that out there. But I like to look at things from various angles. I always look at the physical body and what could be out of alignment, but also the energetic, emotional aspects of a person as well. So from a physical, and I saw some of the comments on that post, and there was some great comments and suggestions as well on there already. But TMJ can definitely be a piece of the picture going on. And it sounds like there's perhaps thoracic outlet syndrome is that's another kind of musculoskeletal condition where the nerves that are kind of coming from the neck that go through underneath the underarm can get kind of compressed and constricted in that area. And that can cause some of the symptoms you're describing are more nerve-like symptoms. So that would be what would be good to address that on the physical level. I love the craniosacral therapy suggestion. Definitely working with a good dentist to look into TMJ and bite, as well as somebody had posted a link for the documentary about root canals and some of the risks that can come from previous root canals and underlying infections that can affect our bodies. Those finding a good biological dentist, that's the type of dentist that specialize in these kind of things would be a great idea. A physiotherapist or physical, like a physical therapist would be another great way. And then someone who does some really, really skilled at body work for releasing some of those kind of musculoskeletal constraints would be really good idea on the physical level. Kind of more on the energetic side, she mentioned it was the right side of the body. It's been going on for a long time. I believe she said it was the right side of the
That's
body.
right. Yep. Yep.
That's more the masculine energy in the body. So looking into anywhere in your life where either the masculine energy within you is out of balance and alignment, or there's any issues with any of the masculine energy in relationships in your life, or trauma in the past around men or the masculine energy, would be a good place to go. Yeah, I think those are some good suggestions. And then also, one last thing on the physical side is looking into kind of just the inflammation levels in your body. If there's when there's a lot of inflammation in the body, it will manifest as more pain. So looking into where there's a lot of inflammatory foods in one's diet, things like sugar or alcohol, a lot of meats. And this is where working with like a naturopath or a functional medicine doctor can be helpful, doing things like food sensitivity testing to know the exact foods that are triggering inflammation in your body can be really beneficial. And also acupuncture. I'm a licensed acupuncturist. That's another lens to look at the body and pain. The pain you're experiencing could be traveling down a specific energy channel, which are called meridians in Chinese medicine. And an acupuncturist that's skilled at working with pain and more musculoskeletal issues can really help to clear out any of these areas of stagnation so that the chi or energy or vital life force can flow freely. And when that happens, pain dissipates basically. So those would all be, things to look into for Nancy.
That's great. Great advice. That all makes perfect sense. And I will say too that my naturopathic doctor really helped me a lot just to get onto this path 2.5 years ago, trying to maneuver quitting alcohol and becoming vegetarian and quitting dairy and all these, and trying to, isolate. I kind of had some IBS stuff going on, digestion, lots of heartburn, but I know that's not what she's talking about. But anyway, shout out for naturopathic doctors help for sure, guys. Sorry it's gotten so dark here. I can't even reach a light switch from here, so I'm gonna look like this here for a couple more minutes. All right, perfect. And then we have this last one here from Regina about Aztaxanthin, and I don't know if I'm saying that correct, but if you knew anything about that, and anything else that might come to mind around pharmaceuticals such as this.
Okay. Yes. So you almost got it right. Astaxanthin. It's kind of a funny one. And this is a compound made from this microalgae, basically. And this is what gives like salmon and different seafood that kind of pinkish, orangish color. And what it is, it's a really potent antioxidant. It's a very potent antioxidant. And antioxidants help fight free radical damage in the body, which is what damages our cells and our DNA and causes the aging process or accelerates the aging process. And so this is a really powerful option. It's a supplement, so it's not a pharmaceutical, it's a supplement.
Okay.
And just a little disclaimer about the supplement industry is that it's not, depending where you live in the world. In America, it's not a very highly regulated industry in terms of what goes into a supplement, and companies can make a lot of claims. So it's really important to know that you're buying a high quality product and just going with companies that are, reputable and trustworthy. That's key for purchasing supplements in general.
Yeah.
But basically antioxidants such as astaxanthin will help with every system of the body, and because it's going to fight that free radical damage and that oxidative process in all of the cells and all the DNA. So there's a lot of benefits for the whole neurological system, neurodegeneration and that kind of thing. You could benefit from the use of astaxanthin. The cardiovascular system, the musculoskeletal system. There's some studies about astaxanthin improving exercise performance, helping, even there's some studies about it helping with weight loss. I can't say that I've clinically have seen that in particularly. It's helpful for skin health. So it will really help with every system of the body. So it could be a nice addition to one's supplement plan.
Is it plant-based?
It's from the ocean. It's from the sea, I believe. It's a microalgae that's
Okay, you
fed
said that.
on
Sorry.
by
That's
the
right.
ocean, by marine life. It's fed upon. So they'll extract and isolate that compound.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Well, I had no
Mhm.
idea. That looks interesting. I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, it's got a
Okay.
lot of good nutritional benefit.
All right. Thanks for that. And have I hit all the questions, Alicia, that came in over Facebook?
I think you hit the Facebook questions. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right. Well, thank you so much. I guess, is there anything else, Alicia, you'd like to add? I'd like to say, reach out to Alicia directly if you have questions. She's running a practice here and it's going to be much more virtual. I'll let you talk about that, Alicia, but,
Yes.
we need each other, guys, right? So, we'll keep doing this kind of thing. And thanks again, Alicia. But yeah, tell us more about you, how do people can contact you, and any other parting thoughts?
Yes. So, yeah, we're in a really interesting and critical time on the planet right now. We're undergoing huge change and huge shifts, and it's not an easy process for a lot of people. So, if you do need support or feel resonant with kind of who I am and what I'm doing here, I help support people with the physical end as well as with the mental, emotional, spiritual, and energetic. I kind of fuse all that together. I do more of a telehealth practice. So I work with people all over the world. And yeah, it's pretty powerful work. So if you do feel like you would benefit for some extra support, you can find me on Facebook, Dr. Elisha Bokman, DrElishabokman, or you can contact me, email me at doctorelishabokman@gmail.com. And that one, doctor spelled out. So Doctorelishabokman@gmail.com. And then I did just want to share that next week I will be doing a live stream on my Facebook page, on my doctor Facebook page. I'm going to be attending a healing workshop with Dr. Joe Dispenza. And if you're not familiar with his work, he does amazing things in helping people heal themselves and create the life of their dreams. So I'm going to be sharing my experience and a lot of tips, and it should be really powerful. So yeah, if that's of
I'm
interest.
so excited for that. Oh my gosh. And what a generous thing for you to take the time to check in like that and give your thoughts and tips. And that's really amazing. So thanks for that. Yeah.
Very
Tune
excited.
in.
Yeah. And yeah, it was a joy to be here with you and looking forward to more of these conversations.
Yeah. And real quick, that Joe Dispenza. So when does that start? Kind of what's the time frame on that? So
Starts on the 19th. I think I'm going to do my first live stream on the 18th of April. And
okay.
yeah, and that's I think through the 25th. So I don't have the exact time I'll be doing a live, but at some point every day I'm going to be tuning in and just kind of sharing my experience and what I'm learning throughout the process. And very powerful and profound work. So I highly recommend checking out his work for those of you that aren't familiar with him yet.
Yeah, agree. And I guess it'd be great if you could just post a quick little shout out on the Starseed Lifestyle group page when you get your first post up, just to remind people that that's coming since it's about 9 days away. Well,
Absolutely.
exciting.
Will
All
do.
right. Thank you so much, Alicia. I learned a lot myself here, and a lot of stuff resonated. I feel the energy flowing here as we're speaking. So everybody will do more of these. So keep asking questions. All right. And we'll try to do this again, like I said, live when I have better Wi-Fi figured out. All
Good.
right.
All right.
Thanks, Dr. Alicia.
Bye, everyone. Have a
All right.
wonderful evening.
All right. Thank you. Bye.